What's poppin', everyone? This is Dan the Man Talks Real Estate, and I am your host, Dan the Man, here to talk all things real estate with you. And maybe some life things, some experiences, scenarios, things like that. So let's just see how the show goes today and where it takes us, okay? Awesome. I am a broker associate with eXp Realty, the Elite Builders. And I love saying that name, Elite Builders, because that is exactly what we do. We build elite people. So Elite Builders, what we like to do with agents that come on board is transform them from your average agent doing a certain amount of deals and operating, at a certain level, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and just raise the game exponentially with just being a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday. And we just go through all of those things with you: discipline, integrity, character, skills, things like that. All those words that, love, joy, all of the things that build somebody up, that's what we do. We want to inspire you to be the best version of yourself you can. So then when you leave and go out into the world, you are an inspiration to others, and you don't have to say anything. People will see how you are and the changes that you've made. There'll be silent changes. Like, you won't even need to announce that you're this new person. They will know based on your actions and your energy. And they're going to be like, what happened to you? What change did you make? And then you can tell them, well, I've changed my life. I'm doing really well financially. I am a better version of myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and here's what we did. So that is what the Elite Builders are. If any of those words resonate with you, you're interested, you want to just get more info on how to be, again, the best version of yourself you can be. You're an agent. You want to just raise your game, skill up, get disciplined, learn what it takes in a given day to, again, just keep raising your game. Subscribe to the channel, shoot me a quick message, or if you want to hit me on like TikTok or Instagram or even Facebook, one of those social media platforms, I'll be more than happy to send you info and get you started on a new life and a life of joy, happiness, love, integrity, character, inspiration, leadership, all of those awesome qualities. So in this episode, we're going to be talking, actually, I'm going to go through a listing presentation with you because, look, now we've already gone over mindsets. So what it takes to get your mind in that place of, success. We've talked about discipline. What it takes, how to overcome your mind when your mind tells you that's not important, or it's too early to get up, or you don't need to go to the gym today, or you can eat that donut instead of an apple, things like that. So how to overcome the mind that will torture you, the ego mind, to, continuously, again, it would have you do things that wouldn't be in your benefit. Whereas now, if you have control over that mind and you understand how to make that mind do what you want it to do from a discipline perspective, again, you're now just raising your game. So you've learned how to do that. Now you're actually making the calls, and you're making these cold calls, calling expireds. You're calling for sale by owners. You're calling just listed, just solds. You're probably even circle prospecting around your area, whatever area you're looking for. And you're talking to sellers, you're talking to the public, and say one of those sellers, I don't know, 1 out of 30, 1 out of 40, who knows, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20, whatever your ratio is. One of them says, yeah, come out and meet with us. We'd love to sit and talk with you about our home. And you pre-qualified them. So now you've asked the pointed questions that we've already gone over. You know that they are ready, willing, and able to sell the property based on the pre-qualification script that we've already gone over. Now you have the appointment. So what's next? What are you going to say when you get there? Do you even know what to say? Do you have a presentation, a listing presentation that you use? Or if you don't, do you just kind of go and wing it and hope, wish, and pray that, you get the listing? Well, if you're anything like I was before understanding the skill of presenting, you would just wing it. And that's what I did for a large number of years. And my success rate was very, 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 very low. So, and then what would I do? I'd get down on myself. I'd start beating myself up. I'm the worst. I suck. Just, because I didn't get the listing, and just you go into a spiral of negativity with it. And then I would go into the blame game. I'd blame the seller. I'd blame the market, the real estate market. Oh, it's a bad market. Then I blame the economy. It's a terrible time to list. I just blame anyone and anything that I could, but the real problem, which was myself. And again, really, I would just do that so it would deflect the blame from me. So anything that I could do to make sure the blame wasn't on me, because I didn't have the skills and I was scared going in there because I didn't know what to say and I didn't get it, but I didn't want the blame to be on me. I'd make it on anything external. So, and I guess to go on a little bit of a side note, the blame game with certainty, 100% certainty, that will carry over into other parts of your life. No doubt. And it did with me. So, I don't know. You'd get a parking ticket because your meter was overdue. Well, I'd blame the parking attendant for giving me the ticket. Well, it's my fault. the meter ran out and I didn't, I wasn't there. But I'd blame them. Again, I'd blame it was a terrible economy. So people aren't listing homes now and people aren't selling homes now, which is a complete lie. Of course, at any time, it doesn't matter if the economy is good or bad. People still need to sell their homes. But I'd blame the economy. I mean, shoot, to get on a personal level, and there's some hesitation with me sharing this, but I will share it because it's true, and it's things that I did. I'd actually blame women for why I wasn't in a happy relationship. So I'd go on these dates all the time, and every time, for whatever reason, it wouldn't work out. And 9 times out of 10, the reason was me. It was not these wonderful people that I was meeting. So, but I'd blame them and say, well, no, the problem's them. They had this going on. They had that going on. And, when it was finally, I am so grateful that I've had people come into my orbit that are straight shooters, because I learn best when someone's just straight with me. And that's why I'm very direct and straight with others as well, sometimes to a fault. But I learn best that way. So I had somebody basically share with me, listen, the common denominator here is not them. The common denominator here is you. How many times can you have the same scenario happen to where, it's just the same result happens, but you're not seeing that it's you and it's not them. And again, this is a blame game. To take responsibility for your life when you're unhappy and when you're not where you want to be, that it takes a level of responsibility and courage, because all courage is you see fear and you push through it. To me, that's the definition of courage. So that there's something that you're scared of, whatever it is, and you just plow through it and you go through it no matter what. And that's courage. So for someone to show that and say that to me, brother, it ain't them, it's you. I had to let that marinate with me for a long time, and then, understood that, all right, the blame doesn't go there. The blame is here internally. I'm the problem. So, shoot, man, to even talk about when I was, living in my parents' basement, I was blaming everyone and everything for that because that was such a, man, to be an adult in your mid-30s and to have to load your life on an open flatbed trailer and drive it back with one of your good buddies driving back with your stuff to your parents' house that you grew up in and left 10, 15 years ago, and now you're back because you failed at life. Yeah, you want to talk about me blaming everybody and everything, every scenario that I could that would never put the blame back on me. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. So, just to, again, the blame game carries over, and none of it was my fault. It was always something or someone else, as to why my life, like, I guess, basically sucked at that time. So, listen, if you can relate to any of this, if, I don't know, you've gone through it, or maybe you're there now, you're in that phase of like, it's not me, it's them, for why you're not where you want to be. Look, the Elite Builders and myself and, many of us have been through that, and we've just had the good fortune of having people around us to help us push through that. It takes time, but we're now on the other side of it. So if any of that resonates with you and, you want to just get some info, get some inspiration on how to like just push through it, get through it, maybe you need some help. Look, we're here to help empower you, from within yourself to break that cycle of blame. And really what it is at the end of the day is fear. So we will help you break that cycle. So, and move you to a path of health, wealth, happiness, skills. So this never, ever will happen to you again, and inspiration, but really I want to focus on skills. When you have skills like what we're going to go over, which is a listing presentation, you do, like, this carries anywhere in the world. If you ever are going to sell real estate, you can sell furniture, cars, it doesn't matter. This is a presentation, and these are skills that you will that you will have with you, that carry with you for the rest of your life, because they're inside of you and they're in your head and in your heart. So that carries with you. You will never have to worry about how to sell, how to earn income again once you build skills and have skills. So, and once I learned this, the blame game went away. It's no longer a part, but that took, for me, over a decade to learn. So now, look, if I can take that and shrink that time of you learning skills and how to break that cycle, maybe I cut it in half. Maybe I make it even shorter than that. My pain and heartache of, again, just failure, debt, again, don't forget, I was $55,000 in debt when I moved back home. I was in utter despair and with nowhere to go, and I had no job. I wasn't employed. And I was living in, again, I had this mound of debt on me. So to be able to break out of that, it took just a short decade. And then again, for me, it was 10 to 12 years. If I can shrink that time for you, if you're going through this now, all you need to do is just reach out to us. You want to join the Elite Builders, you just get some information on it. I can help you with that. We can help you with that. We are here to support you and to help you push through. So, and again, our goal here is for you as the listener, the agent, the human being on this planet to be the absolute highest and best version of yourself that you can be. Because look, you have something to offer this planet. I didn't think I did, but damn it, I was wrong on that. I have something to share with this planet, and you do too. We all do. It's all inside of us. We just have to find it. And maybe you need somebody like I did, someone to help me unlock that potential, because I didn't know I had it until somebody showed me that I did. So maybe I can help you with that. Hey everyone, this episode is brought to you by the Listing Presentation Mastermind Group. So the Listing Presentation Mastermind Group is some elite agents that get together every day, Monday through Friday at 11:30 Eastern Time. And what do we do? I run the group, and we basically go through a listing presentation one day. Each person will go through their listing presentation, and if you don't have one, we will provide one for you. And what we do is we go through them, And then what we also do is handle objections. So we go through an objection handling script. We have those for you as well. And you get to role play those every day of the week, Monday through Friday, at 11:30 Eastern time. And we know that practice every day is going to build that potential that you have, and you will master these scripts and master. So when you're on your presentation and you get an objection, you immediately go into that filing cabinet in your head and just pull out that objection handler. So if this is something that is of interest to you, just again subscribe to the channel, send me a quick message, and I'll send you out some information on that. You can also just go to findaroleplaypartner.com, and you can sign up there. You want to reach out to me on TikTok or Instagram, just send me a message saying mastermind, and I'll know exactly what you're talking about. That actually comes, the listing presentation mastermind group is a $500. It costs $500 for the year, but if you sign up with the Elite Builders, that's one of those things that value stack we offer is for free. So again, what is the value stack by just partnering with us at Elite Builders at eXp Realty? You get free group coaching, okay? The group coaching is a $3,000 value. You get role play groups. This is one of them that's included. That's a $1,000 value because there's also one in the morning, the role play mastermind group. That is another, that's $500 for the year as well. That's a $1,000 value you're getting for free just by partnering with us. You also get, if you are a female, the exclusive ladies mastermind group, which is a $3,000 value. You get systems training, which is a $2,000 value. You get the scripts and courses. So you get all of these scripts that we're going over. Objections, pre-qualification, expired, for sale by owner, listing presentation. You get all of these scripts for free when you just partner with us with Elite Builders. So the scripts are a $1,000 value. You also get CRM training. Well, what is a CRM? It's basically a program where your database is there and it manages, we basically manage your database. Like, so you have a program set where your database is there, whether it's new clients, past clients, different lead sources. It all goes into that one CRM, and those generally will cost. CRMs can cost a good bit every year. $100 a month, $150 a month. This is free with us, and then the events and the courses, they are another $1,000 value. So look, you're getting over $10,000 a year in value just by signing up and partnering with us at Elite Builders at eXp Realty. So again, with this information, if any of that is of interest to you, you just even want to find out some info on it. You're not necessarily thinking you want to join just yet. You want to, do some fact finding, find out what's happening with it, and some of the success rates of the people involved. Because again, you're going to be in proximity to super agents and brokers that earn $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a year in GCI. They are going to be on your dial regularly. If you want to call them and talk to them, you're able to do that. And believe me, proximity is power. When you are around these people, your game is going to increase just by being around them and having them in your orbit. So, and I'm a great example of it. So, if that's of interest to you, again, just subscribe to the channel. Dan the Man does real estate. I'm sorry, Dan the Man talks real estate, and we can go over that with you. So if any of this is of interest to you, please just feel free to subscribe to the channel. That's Dan the Man Talks Real Estate. You can also hit me on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. Send me a direct message and just sign up there. I'm at Daniel Mesrobian on those platforms. And we'll get you signed up and get you started on your whole new life of inspiration, joy, happiness, love, skills, and wealth, and health, and happiness. So now, instead of going to a listing appointment and just winging it, throwing out there your unscripted presentation in your head, imagine knowing exactly what to say, when you're there. You're able to communicate it in a very productive and scripted manner to where you're so confident with what you're saying and it just goes in a flow that at the end of 10 to 15 minutes, seller's like, yeah, I'm ready to sign. You're able to serve the seller and walk away with the listing in hand and the skills to do that every single time you go on the listing appointment. So today I'm going to go over a listing presentation with you. Now, this will work on a Zoom or if you're in person with the seller. Either way, it's going to work. So I've used them on both, and it works both ways. So let's go over a listing presentation. Okay, so let's say you go to the door and, or actually let's say this is a list. Let's say this is a Zoom. I would begin with, first and foremost, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'd just like to begin our time together today by saying thank you for providing me the opportunity to share some information with you and help you with the sale of your home, okay? And they'll say, okay, yeah, perfect. Now, I always like to begin these conversations just by asking a few quick questions to make sure that the information I have is accurate and really I can just help serve you best. Sound good? Yeah, it sounds good. Okay, great. First question I have, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this based on what we've spoken about already, is that you both have talked about it and you're definitely going to be putting the home on the market for sale. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Dan, we're definitely going to sell. Okay, great. Now, the second question I have is I'm also where you'd like to position the property price-wise to sell. Now, what I mean by that is we're obviously not looking to give the home away here, but it'd be your preference not to have it sit on the market, 6, 7, 8 months, just testing the market out. Is that right? Well, yeah, Dan, we're not looking to give the home away. We obviously know the value that there is here, but yeah, at the same time, we do need to move, so we're not looking to have it sit on the market like last time. Okay, got it. Now, the third question I have for you is I sent you over some information, past client reviews, our website, how we're going to be marketing and selling the property, things like that. Have you had a chance to take a look at that? Yeah, my wife and I reviewed it before we got here. Okay, great. Before you got here. Okay, great. So the question I have for you is, have you already decided you would just like for me to handle the sale for you? Now, they'll give you either one of two things. Yes, we do. And if that's the case, you immediately talk about the listing paperwork and get that in front of them. If usually what you'll get is, well, we really just want to see what you have to say. We had you over for a reason. We're interviewing a couple other agents, and we're just interested to see, what you have to say. Totally understand, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, and I'm aware this is a big decision for you. Obviously, you want to make the best decision you can for yourself and your family. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. And I do want to be clear that is my intention today, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. That is, provided what I say makes sense to you, you both feel really comfortable, super confident that I can help you sell this home, get the most amount we can for it, and get you down to that condo or that home in the Jersey Shore that you're looking to make your permanent home. I have all the appropriate paperwork with me, and we can just take care of that, get it out of the way, and get you one step closer to that new home. If all seems to be in agreement today. Sound good? Okay, yeah, it sounds good. Perfect. Now, I'm interested in your answer, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, as to, share with me what qualities you're going to be looking for this time around in the next agent that you choose. Like, what are you going to be looking for? That if perhaps you felt I fit that criteria, maybe we can just get the paperwork started today and get our photographer in here to shoot the home and get it on the market in the next, say, 24, 48 hours. Okay, well, Dan, we're looking for somebody who's going to be able to communicate with us. Our previous agent, didn't have a lot of communication. Aggressive agent. We really want to get you out, get the property out there and really just get the job done this time. Okay, now you'll summarize. So from hearing you right, you're looking to really have somebody that's going to get the property out there, just, not a passive agent, somebody who's really, really aggressive, just moving into the marketplace to find buyers, somebody who's going to communicate with you weekly as to what's happening, and at the end of the day, just to get you down to the Jersey Shore, which is what you want. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Do you want to hear the great news, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? What's that, Dan? I feel supremely confident that myself and my team, we fit that criteria. And at the end of our time together today, if you feel the same way, we can just, again, have our photographer in here and get in this property in front of those buyers in the next, say, 24 to 48 hours. Sound good? Okay, yeah, it sounds good. Perfect. Now, at the end of our time together today, there are one of three potential outcomes that will occur. Now, the first one being, like most of the clients that we have the pleasure of, seeing face to face, and it seems as if we're already going in that direction, is that you're going to decide to list your home with me. And myself and my team, we are so excited to have that opportunity to serve you. Okay? Yeah, okay. Great. Now, the second potential outcome is there's an outside chance you'll decide not to list your home with me. And the third potential outcome, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is that if I didn't feel like I could get you what you wanted in the time frame that you wanted, I may decide to humbly decline the opportunity to list your home. And the reason I would do that is I'd much rather earn your business through honesty and really just being upfront with you, as opposed to maybe over-promising you something and then not being able to deliver on that promise. And any one of those three, I'm completely comfortable with. Does that sound fair to you? Yeah, that sounds fair. Okay, great. Now, just to reiterate, you're looking to sell this property because you have that home at the shore and you really like to make that your forever home, your permanent home. You don't want to carry the two homes together. Is that right? Yes. Now, basically what you've done is you've reiterated their motivation to sell. Okay, sounds good. Now, when we go to market and a buyer comes to me and says, hey, Dan, we'd like to close this in, say, 45, 60 days. It actually sounds like that time frame would work well for you both. Is that right? Yeah, that would work okay. Would it close that fast? Well, it's a great question. So, let's say we were on the market for 30 days, 40 days, and then we get a contract. You can add on another 30 to 45 days because they're most likely going to have financing, and to get the mortgage cleared for closing would add another 30 to 45 days. So all in all, you'd be looking at about 75 to 90 days from start to finish. Would that time frame work for you? Yeah, time frame would work well. All right, great. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, in terms of the home itself, were you looking to make any changes or modifications before I start to bring those buyers through? Or are you thinking that you just want to sell the home as it is? Well, I don't know, Dan. You've seen the home. What do you think? You think we need to do anything to it? That's a great question, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Seeing what you've done with it, I just want to take a step back and say you've done a phenomenal job with keeping this home up to date, keeping it show ready. I think it's ready to go right now. Wouldn't anticipate you needing to do anything to it other than to get my photographer in here to shoot it and get it on the market. Sound good? Yeah, it sounds good. Okay, great. Now, in terms of time frame, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, were you thinking you want to get the property on the market as soon as possible? Yeah, we don't really want to wait any longer. We already had it listed for 6 months and it didn't sell. So, yeah, as soon as possible would be best. Excellent. Now, you did mention to me previously that you do have a mortgage on the property. Looks like about $400,000. Is that right? Yeah, it's about like 405, 410. Okay. Now, were you thinking you'd like to act like a bank, maybe hold a note or hold paper for a buyer that comes in and wants to do some owner financing? Or you thinking you just want to get the check in hand when we're at the closing table signing papers? No, yeah, like give me the check at closing. We don't want to have anything to do with the home. We just want to wipe it clean and be done with it. Okay, got it. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm crystal clear on your situation. And again, I feel supremely confident that myself and my team can help you just maximize value here and get you down to the Jersey Shore in the time frame that you want. So really the good news is we only need to focus on a couple things during our time together today. Can I share those with you? Yeah. All right, great. Well, the first thing we're going to need to focus on is your motivation to sell the property. And we've just talked about it. It sounds like you're definitely going to do it. So really the only other thing we need to focus on today during our time is the price that we set on your home. Does that make sense? Yeah, exactly. We were actually curious how you're going to be pricing the property. Excellent. Great. Now, that's the first part of the listing presentation because the next part's going to be the pricing portion, which we will go over. So the first part, I wanted to just give some details and some reasons as to why I ask the questions that I ask. And also, for the agents that are pretty seasoned, you'll notice that there are a number of assumptive closes in there. For agents that are a little newer and maybe don't have a listing presentation, I'm going to go over those with you. So assumptive closes basically say to the seller that you're so confident that in your ability and that you can help serve them like no other, you're already saying to them that the listing that they're going to be listing with you. So an example of one of them would be, okay, so, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the reason you're selling the property is you're looking to get down to the Jersey Shore and you want to make that your forever home. Yeah, that's right. Now, when we go to market and a buyer comes to me and says, now that's an assumptive close. When we go to market and a buyer comes to me and says, we'd like to close in 45 or 60 days. So already you're saying, the listing, I already have the listing. So when the buyers come to me and ask that question, is that okay with you? That's an assumptive close. That's your first one. Okay, now the second assumptive close is in there when I ask, now, were you looking to, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, were you looking to make any changes or modifications before I start to bring those buyers through? Were you looking to make any changes before I'm bringing buyers through? Which basically says, you've already listed with me, now I'm bringing buyers through. That's assumptive close number 2. There's also one in there that I have that says, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, now I'm aware that you have say a $400,000 mortgage. Were you looking to do some owner financing, maybe hold a note, hold paper for a buyer when they put an offer together? Or are you just looking to get your cash at the closing, check in hand, when we're there signing papers? When we're there signing papers basically says to the seller, we're there together. We're at the closing table signing papers like you've already listed with me and you've closed. So that is a really, really powerful assumptive close. So those are just some closes that you can use in the beginning of your presentation to just let the seller know you're so confident that you know how to serve them. You're going to serve them like no one else can. So your confidence level is already saying like, yeah, you're going to be listing with me because I'm the best there is. Okay. Now we will go into the second part of the listing presentation, which is the pricing portion of it. And this is really what they've all been waiting for. So you say to them, yeah, so the only other thing we need to focus on today is the price that we set on your home. Okay? Yeah, sounds great. I'm looking forward to seeing how you're going to be pricing the property. Excellent. Great. So I sent over to you some information in that email, had some active listings that are still on the market right now, have not sold, and also some sold comparables, sold listings in your area, which basically we call a CMA, comparative market analysis. Did you have a chance to take a look at that? Yeah, we looked at some of those. We know some of the homes that are in the area. Some of them are right in our neighborhood, in our development. Excellent. Now, the purpose of that information, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is to give us an educated guess with regards to value. And that information is comprised of 2 types of research. The first type of research is what is active and on the market right now and not selling. And we generally call those the unsolds. And your neighbors are doing us a really big favor with those properties because they're letting us know what price points are not working because they're still on the market, right? Yeah, that's right. Awesome. So we can use that information to our advantage once we come up with a price together as a team. So again, we can be the next obvious choice to sell, okay? Yeah, sounds good. Great. And the second part of that research is what is sold in your area, those sold comparables. And what I mean by that is what a buyer, a seller, and a bank appraiser have all agreed to as far as value for those homes. They've sold in the last 3 to 4 months, and we'll see what those homes had to offer and how quickly they actually sold, how long they were on the market before they took a contract. Sound good? Yeah, it sounds great. Excellent. Because, again, what we're going to do with that information, we're not going to get a pinpoint to the penny for value. But what we will get is a nice realistic range regarding the price and value of your home. Does that make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. Great. And then what we'll also do is discuss strategy. Because pricing your property, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is going to be a strategy in an attempt for us to get the most money we can out of those buyers and we'll go over all the strategies you have at your disposal. Because really, at the end of the day, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I want you to both feel really comfortable and super confident with the strategy we end up choosing for your home. That sound good? Yeah, it sounds great. Excellent. So now what we also see, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is I'm noticing sellers utilizing two strategies in an attempt to get the most money they can out of those buyers. The first strategy that I see is this is where, the sellers will start out high and then leave room to negotiate down. And I'm probably where you're familiar with that strategy moving forward. Yeah, we know we know that strategy. We're familiar with it. Yeah, it's that old school strategy, and there are some challenges that come with that. Can I share with you what those are? Yes. Okay. Generally, when we see sellers utilize that strategy of starting out really high and then leaving room to negotiate down, they're generally not that motivated to move. So what we see is they have that high number in mind, and if the property sells, hey, that's great. But more often than not, it doesn't. It stays on the market, and the seller has the option to either, number one, just let the listing expire, and then they'll relist it again, or number two, they just pull the property off the market and they can keep it because they didn't get what they wanted. So let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is it an option for you not to sell this property and still make that move down to the Jersey Shore? I don't know, maybe rent this home out. Dan, no. Could we do it? Yes. But we really don't want to carry two mortgages. We're not looking to be landlords at this, point in time. We'd like to just have the one home and sell this one up here and be done with it and move into the one that we have at the shore. Okay, great. So it sounds like really in order for me to get you what you want in the time you want, it's just going to require me to help you, pull out as much capital as we can from this home, sell it, and have you be done so you can move into the shore. Yeah, that's right. Excellent. Well, look, I'm more of a plan A guy myself. Let's focus on that and getting this property sold for you, okay? Great. So those are the challenges that can come with that first strategy. Now, that'll lead us into the second pricing strategy, which is just pricing the property more in line with what's trading in the market, maybe sometimes pricing it even a little bit below. And usually in this scenario, you'll have buyers competing with each other because more than one buyer sees value. And, what will happen to a seller's value when more than one buyer is competing with each other? Well, I'd imagine the value goes up. Yeah, because they're now competing with each other, and the most amount a buyer's willing to pay will always come to the surface. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. Perfect. So either one of these strategies that you choose, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I will support you 100%. Okay? Let's look at a buyer right now who utilized that first strategy of starting out high and leaving room to negotiate. And then what you would do is pull out an active sale. So you're going to have an active listing in front of you that's on the market right now and has not sold. So we see here, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we have looks like a 4-bed, 3-bath, about, 3,200 square feet. You can see that here, right? Yep, I can see that, Dan. Okay, now this is 123 Main Street. Are you familiar with this property? Yes, it's right around the corner from us. Okay, great. So, seeing that bedroom bath count, how much square feet we see here, 3,200. Sounds like and looks like from a size and shape, perspective, like the footprint of the home seems pretty similar to yours, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're 3,300 square feet. So this is a little bit smaller, but yeah, I mean, it seems pretty similar. Okay, great. And then when we look at the pictures here, we can see inside they've done some renovations as well. Looks like the floors, bathrooms, things of that nature. Can you see that there? Yeah. Okay, great. So we'd agree that the home is in really good shape. Yeah, it seems like they've done some recent renovations. Great. We're going to focus on two numbers here, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. These are the most important. So the first thing we're going to see is that LP there. That stands for list price. What do you see there for that? That looks like $770,000. Okay. Yeah. Now, the number below that says DOM. That stands for days on market. What do you see right next to that? That's 94. Yeah. So this property, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, has been on the market right now for 94 days without a contract. And I actually spoke to this agent. They don't have any offers that are coming in either. And it seems as though the showings have started to taper off a bit. So now you'll probably get a little bit of pushback here of, oh, wow, 770 and it hasn't sold. That's crazy. I wonder what's going on with that. And that's why it's important, if you're going to be presenting, to maybe even talk to the agent that is listing this property so you can give some info on it. So then one of the important questions you can ask is, so let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what do you think this seller here has to do next in order to maybe even get some showings in there, possibly an offer? I don't know, maybe lower the price. Yeah, I'd agree with you 100%. What do you think the buying public is telling this seller about the price of their home being on the market over 3 months with no offers? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's maybe saying that it's too high. Is there something wrong with the home? And that's sometimes a question you'll get, and you can, answer that immediately. Yeah, it's a great question. Again, I spoke to the seller agent, and the house is in great shape. Unfortunately, they're just not getting the showings. So, yeah, they're going to probably be taking a price reduction on that. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what they're doing now is called chasing the market down. They're trying to find a number that buyers and their agents are seeing value with, so they'd make an offer. Because the good news is what we know to be true is, in this area right now, the average days on market before a property goes under contract is 49, okay? So it's a little over a month. This is now pushing over 3 months, pushing 4. So yes, I would agree with you. The price seems to be the issue here. Now, if the seller keeps pushing back with you on price, you can go over and pull out another active listing that's on the market right now and go over the same scenario. Bedroom, bath, footprint seems the same, right? Yeah, it seems like the same. Okay. And then when you look at the pictures, yeah, it looks like, we have upgrades in the kitchen. It looks like the backyard has a deck, and the lot seems to be in good shape as far as landscaping and things of that nature. And okay, great. And then when we see here, you go over the price. If the price is, in that 770 range, how long it's on the market, just go over another active sale to reinforce the point that price point is not working right now. 94 days on market. Okay. So that's how you can go over that. Now you can go over and say, well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, let's look at another seller in your area who utilized that second strategy, which is pricing it more in line with what was selling, maybe even a little bit below. Okay. Now you pull out a sold comparable. Okay. So a property that actually has sold in the last 3 months. Okay. So here we have 123 Main Street. Are you familiar with this property, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? Yeah, I know that. That's in our development. We've actually have friends that live next door. Okay, great. And we see here that it is a 4-bed, 3.5 bath. So it has an extra half bath, 3,100 square feet. So it's a little bit smaller than yours, right? As far as square footage. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And when we look at the pictures on the inside, because you'll have an iPad here, or if you printed them out, you can just show them to them. What we see here looks like the downstairs basement's been renovated. The landscaping looks great. So I'd say from a size and shape and footprint and overall condition, would you say this home is pretty similar to yours? Yeah, it's pretty similar. I still think our kitchen's nicer, but I can see the similarities here. Okay, and let me just take a step back, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, and say that you, again, have done – this home is in phenomenal shape. It just shows excellently, and I'm really excited to be able to present this to the public and get you guys down to the Jersey Shore. So I agree with you. Your kitchen is phenomenal, okay? Yeah, great. Now, let's take a look at the two numbers that we're going to focus on again. So that this one actually says SP. So that's sold price. What do you see next to that? Okay, that's $720,000. Wow, $720,000. That's really low. You'll usually get that. Yeah, so that was the sale price, $720,000. Now, the key number, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is right below that DOM. What do you see there? 32. Yep, 32 days. So that was only on the market for 32 days. So just a tad over a month before that seller took a contract, agreed on the price, bank appraiser agreed, and the property ended up closing. So let me ask you, Ms. and Mrs. Seller, would that time frame work for you, being on the market for only 30 days and accepting an offer? Well, yeah, I mean, that time frame would work perfectly. Okay, great. Now, let me ask you a question, Mr. Seller. Do you see why now these properties over here at these price points, and you will point to the actives, are not selling at these numbers? Yeah, I guess I can see why, 720,000 being the highest sale in the area. Yeah. So again, what do you think these sellers here are going to have to do to make their home the next obvious choice to sell? I guess, yeah, probably lower the price closer to this 720,000. Yeah, I'd agree with you because again, the buyers are seeing that that's the highest sale. So seeing a number at 770, they're just not seeing the value there. That make sense to you? Yeah, it makes sense. Okay. So the question I'd ask you is seeing these two strategies now, knowing what we now know about your marketplace, which one of these two strategies do you think would serve you best? And let them choose. Well, I mean, I still think 720 is low, but I obviously see that 770 is a number that's not working. We don't want to be on the market 94 days. What do you think about maybe listing somewhere in the middle? Okay. Now they've asked me for my opinion. That's a great question, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. So again, you've nailed it on the head. We know that 720 is our highest sale. So anything above that, we're really going to be testing the market out. And in a market right now that we're in, we know that there's a lot of downward pressure in the market. Testing the market at any number above that 720, you do run the risk, and I want to make you aware, of buyers not seeing value and then us sitting on the market just like this active listing here for 94 days. That is a reality that could happen. So if we do come somewhere in between the 770 and the 720, and, so let's say we list, I don't know, somewhere in that 740 range. Would you and your wife feel comfortable coming in the market at somewhere in that range? Yeah, it's funny. We were thinking like 749. Okay, we can definitely do that. And again, I'm in full support of you. The question I'd ask is, I know you wanted to get down to the Jersey Shore by, the beginning of March. That would really mean that we would need to be under contract in 30 days or less to make that happen. Okay? Yeah, that's really the time frame that we were looking for. Perfect. Now, when we go to market and, we're really just not seeing the offers weren't coming in where we had wanted, or we're just not even getting showings because the buyers are thinking our price is a little bit too aggressive. Are you open to having a conversation about bringing the property more in line with what is trading, so that will ensure that you will get to the Jersey Shore in the time that you want? Yeah, I mean, I really would like to just give it a try at this number, but, we can obviously discuss that once that time, if that time comes. Perfect. Is there any other questions, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, before we just take care of the paperwork and get you started on your way to the new, the home in the Jersey Shore? No, I think that's about it. And then you slide the paperwork, go over the listing paperwork with them, sheet by sheet, and you get your listing paperwork signed, and you are now in the service of helping this seller. So that is a listing presentation that is in here in my head that I present every time when I go to a seller's home to meet with them to help them with the sale of their home. This has taken me, role-playing and practicing and chanting probably 90 to 120 days to memorize it. Every day chanting it. I wrote it out for about 2 months straight. It was about 9 or 10 sheets of paper. I wrote it out every day for like 60 days straight. And it started to get into my brain. And I can freelance a little bit because I know the foundation of my presentation. I know, the different, it's like a train track. It runs on a track. And I know the beginning, the middle, the end, the pricing, objections, things like that. And objections we can go into, which we will go into in another episode, because the seller may say, well, the price is too low, or, what we want to think about it, or, what's your professional fee? Your fee's too high. You're going to get those objections sometimes if your presentation's not really smooth and it just flows and you're in your congruency with the seller, you're connecting with the seller, usually when you do, you don't get those objections. It's really just, you know what, Dan, you're our guy. We feel very comfortable and confident with you. Let's get started. Like we know you can get it done. So you'll usually get that when your presentation is really nice and smooth. But there are times you get objections, and we will go over those in a future episode, maybe even the next one. I'll ask you this. If you'd like to have me do an episode on objections, listing presentation objections, objections when you're on an initial call, objections on a pre-qual. If objections are something that you need to work on, if objections are something that maybe you've never worked on and you want to have some handlers for that, I can do an episode on that. Reach out to me when you subscribe to the channel. Reach out to me and just write objections or send me a message saying objections. You can also reach out to me on, again, the other platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and just DM me and put, we'd like to hear a episode on objections. Be more than happy to do that. So, but again, this is a presentation, and you will, more than often than not, you will get success. You will have success when you go over this. So I sincerely hope this was helpful for you. Again, we can go over objections on a future episode. And I'd say this. Now imagine having this listing presentation in your arsenal when you your arsenal of skills whenever you need it. Like you just pull it out and you just go. You have objections in your arsenal. You have a listing presentation in your arsenal. You have expired script in your arsenal, a for sale by owner script in your arsenal, a just listed, just sold script in your arsenal, a pre-qualification script in your arsenal. You have all of these skills, these scripts in your head whenever the situation comes up. Imagine having all of those in there. So if you answered yes to I want them, then just reach out to me through any of the social media platforms, subscribe to the channel, and just send me a message. DM me on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, all of those, or even email me at themazrobianteam@gmail. I mean, that's fine too. Reach out to me and look, DM skills, let's get started. Let me help you get you on your journey to skilling up. So when you do get these appointments, you know exactly what to say. You can serve these clients to the highest and best ability that you can. And then what happens when you do? They sell their home and they will tell everybody that you were the best agent that they found and will refer their friends and colleagues and neighbors to you. So really having a listing presentation like this, it's going to allow you to do several things. Number one, you will be confident in yourself. It will just breed self-confidence. Your knowledge, your demeanor, your skills, just how you present, all going to be confident. So you will have a renewed sense of confidence in yourself knowing this skill. Number two, you will serve your clients, and this is probably the most important, you will serve them at the highest level possible. They will love the results that they get with you. They will appreciate you, and again, will refer you to friends and colleagues once you get the job done and sell the property because you presented well, you presented price, showed them the options that they have, let them choose the option that they want, and then again, at the end, you'll be future pacing them because you're talking to them every week when you do your calls to update them, and it's exactly what they wanted. So imagine having that skill. And then number three, it instills the confidence in the client that you are the expert in your field and you know what it takes to get the job done. You know. And now you have a track record of it because the more that you list property and sell it, now you have a track record you can send to them, prospective clients, when they say, well, send me some information about you because I don't know who you are. And then maybe I'll call you back. You can send them, hey, I've sold this, I've sold this, I've sold this, and it may even be in their area. So now you have a track record of success, and it instills confidence in them that you know what you're doing. So I also think for those of you who don't have this skill of presenting, it gives you the opportunity to learn a very, very important skill, which is discipline. Because you must be disciplined to present like this. Because there are times that you're going to get asked questions that are going to take you you're going to go off the track. You have to bring it right back onto the track. Now, that's number one. The second part of discipline with this is the actual discipline of learning the script. It's like a 10-page script. But the more you write it, the more you chant it, the more you practice it, it just gets into your head. It's a part of you. Again, it's like the car. You don't even have to think about when you get in the car. You're putting a seatbelt on and you start the car. So these things don't even require thought. They're like unconscious / subconscious thought. Imagine having a presentation in your mind that's there like the snap of a finger. Like, hey, I'm going to present. Okay, first and foremost, just want to begin our time together today by saying thank you for providing me the opportunity to share some information with you and help you with the sale of your home. Like, it's there. You're going to have it in your head at the snap of a finger. Imagine having that discipline to do it and have it. So it's a new skill. You're learning a new skill, and it takes discipline to learn new skills. So it's just like going to the gym. It takes discipline to get up every day early and go to the gym. I did it today. I got up, I looked over, and it was like 4:32 in the morning. I was like, God, I don't want to get up today. I do not want to go to the gym today. But what do? It's like you just tell your mind, like, nope, non-negotiable. We're getting up. And I got up. I did my morning routine. I was at the gym by 6:05. So it'll help you learn discipline. So I don't know. Maybe you've had issues in the past with quitting or starting a task and not seeing the task through to completion. Learning this skill is going to help with that. Look, many of the elite builders, me included, I had major issues with mastering skills because it took discipline, which is what I didn't have. I was winging all these things, and I didn't have the discipline to learn skills like this in the beginning because I had the opportunity to do it, and I didn't. I was like, I don't need that. I literally said to myself, I don't need this skill. I can just go in there and, tell the sellers what they wanted to hear, and, they'd list their property with me, and they didn't. The funny thing is they didn't. I'm sitting here telling myself that they would do that, and after numerous attempts and years, it wasn't working. So, again, and many of the elite builders, these agents, these super agents that are doing, 50, 100, 150 deals a year, they all were here too. It's not like I'm the only one. Success breeds clues, and leaving those clues of success, one of them is every agent that you see that's doing a high number of transactions at a high number of, gross commission income, they all are very disciplined. They mastered the skill, and then with discipline and leadership, they ended up, being the success that they are. So we learn. As elite builders, we have learned. So, and as elite builders learn, they're going to share, and they do share because they shared with me. They didn't have to. The people that I've come into contact with that mentor me and coach me, they didn't have to share this stuff with me, but they did. Why? Because it creates, they had somebody help them. So then what happens is then they share and help someone else. And then what's that going to do? Then I'm going to now learn it and share it with somebody else. And then what is that going to do? Then the person that I give it to and share that with, they're going to now master it and be able to share it with somebody else. Like, it's how growth and leadership and relationships happen. It's just a continuous circle, but you have to share it and learn it and be disciplined enough to learn the skill and learn the skill well. And that's what we do here at Elite Builders. We lead, we share, we inspire. That's who we are. So look, if these words, any of these words that I've just used, leadership, learning, inspiration, inspire, sharing, share, if these words mean something to you and those are words that you want to be associated with, just let's begin your journey to become an elite builder. Let's get started. I'd love to help you and have you join the group or, even talk to you one-on-one. Just help you get to where you need to be. I hope this facet of this episode was inspirational and valuable to you. Having me go through a listing presentation, having me present to a seller, and understanding the power and the discipline that it takes to learn that presentation. I hope it was effective and valuable for you. I hope you took something from it that you can learn and take and put into your arsenal of skills. So we're going to move now into a book review. And this book, I always read when I want to get back to the basics of who I am. And it's probably I read it once every maybe 3 years, probably 2 to 3 years. I'll read it over because it's like the Bible. This book is like the Bible for getting out of your own way when you're in your own way and you don't know you're in your own way. So when I began my journey of growth and like rediscovery of who I am and what I'm about and what I have to offer this planet, that was about 18 years ago, and I actually saw the author of this book on PBS doing a special. I was wondering, like, why is he on PBS? Because he had a full audience. And then I listened to him speak. And his words, it was as if what he was saying on the screen, he was talking to me personally. And I bought the book, I read it, and again, it is the Bible for getting out of your own way when you don't know you're in your own way, but you're in your own way. The book is called The Power of Intention. Now, many of you might know Dr. Wayne Dyer. I did not know him until about 18 years ago. He's one of the most, enlightened, conscious human beings that ever walked the planet. Unfortunately, he is not here with us anymore. He passed, I think it was a few years ago. Might have even been a little bit longer. He just a wonderful, wonderful human being. At that time, I was having a lot of problems with, moving forward in life and blaming, anger, jealousy, and failure, which all emanated from that big word at the top of fear. That's all I was living. I was living in fear, terrible time at life, and this book was pivotal in my journey to discipline, integrity, value, love, masculinity, character, all the words that are powerful, that make us humans, the best versions of ourselves. This book helped associate those words with me. So buy it, read it, and learn from one of the most, I'd say, highly evolved human beings to ever walk this planet. His words will touch you. I promise you they will. And the book is called The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Oh, and we get to my favorite part of the show, the Danism of the day, Danism of the week, Danism of the month, Danism of the year. I was trying to think of something that I live by that, it's deep and it's, it's this like monumental Danism, but it just, this one kept coming to me and coming to me and coming to me. I was like, you know what? This is one that I'm gonna use, and it is just simply be kind. It's simple, it's easy, and it is often overlooked. Just be kind. I know that I'm aware that when I was, again, beginning my journey, I always had to be right with my point. I would argue until people would just either walk away or, agree with me for the sake of having me stop arguing. And then the book, The Power of Intention, as I read that and I was beginning to see, let me pull that book back for a minute. There was something that I read in here. It was so important. One of his 7 steps for overcoming the ego's hold on you. This was so powerful for me. Let go of your need to win was one. And number 3, let go of your need to be right. Those 2 let goes were so powerful for me because I was so insecure. I just had this need to be right and to I had to just have that because I didn't really have anything else. And when you learn to let that all go, and that's not really important, And the choice that I always say is when you have the choice to be right, you have the choice to be kind, choose being kind. You'll never, ever regret it. You will immediately know that you've made the right choice. So it is very simple. Be kind. Hold the door open for somebody. You're in line grabbing a cup of coffee. Turn around. Maybe you want to buy the person behind you a cup of coffee. It's really actually a pretty cool experience because they're never going to expect it. And you can even do it without them knowing. You can just pay for it, whatever they have, without them knowing. It's actually pretty powerful. So things like that, just real simple, easy things. They don't cost a lot of money. It doesn't cost money to be kind. Being kind is free. And it goes a long way to your happiness and to the happiness that you're putting out into the planet. Because Lord knows at this time we need as much kindness as we can get. So that's the Danism that I can share with you today, that I do my best, my absolute best to do, which is be kind. I'm not perfect, but more often than not, I am. It is something that I do love. I love to live by this. So be kind. Okay, I sincerely hope that this episode brought value to you. You enjoyed it, and the best way you can support this podcast is by subscribing. So again, if you feel this podcast brings you value, if you're looking to continue your education in real estate and just strengthening your mindset, learning discipline, learning what it takes to just be great at what you do, but more importantly, just being great at yourself and who you are on this planet, click the subscribe button. Again, comment on these videos. Your comments really mean a lot to me because it lets me know that either you love it or you don't, and here's why you don't. Or you love it, and here's why you love it. So it just, it lets me know how you are thinking about what I'm sharing with you. So again, comment on the videos and what you would like to know more about. That's what I'm here for. It is really for you out there, you guys. So share it with someone you think might, you might like to see join you on your journey of discipline, of success, of integrity, of love, of happiness. That's at Dan the Man Talks Real Estate. So again, also go ahead and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Daniel Mesrobian. Reach out to me, message me, or, comment. Again, tell us what you think because your feedback is really pivotal. So thank you. Until next time, y'all, be well and love your life.